Hey YouTubers, I'm Jacob. This is a how-to video for installing the Vintage Air AC kit in a 1979 Ford Bronco. This also applies to any 70s era Ford truck with the dent side bodies. This is part of a bigger series. I've broken this down into several steps showing you how to install the full Vintage Air AC kit. It's pretty simple once you break it down, so make sure to subscribe to the channel to follow along. I've included the links to the products and tools I'm using in the description below, so make sure to click on those and check them out. All right, let's get right into it.
I'm unboxing and laying my parts out, then starting on the evaporator mounting brackets and firewall cover.
All right, now that we have our plates installed, go ahead and thread in the rods on the ends here. Okay, it's now time to install the hard lines to the evaporator. When we do this, we want to make sure we use the provided mineral oil lubricant and the two provided O-rings. They're going to go over the ends of these when we install them onto the hard line connections here. Make sure to remove the covers and the inserts and let it off gas before installing the hard lines. The hard lines are labeled. You'll notice one of them has a little bit more bend into it, and that is the upper hard line. It actually says on it upper hard line and lower hard line. As you're looking at it right now, you're looking at the top, and this is the side that's going to be against the firewall, and then the side facing me is the bottom. So this side would be driver's side then, this side being passenger side. Okay. After getting that spread out evenly, feed it through the opening and on. You don't want to tighten them down all the way. We just want to get it snugged up for fitment. With the firewall cover oriented like this, we'll overlay it with the evaporator.
I'm centering up the heater hard lines in the opening so I can tighten them down so they'll be aligned when I'm mounting it up.
I'm going to install the grommets. They're going to go on straight on the indention towards the other direction. Just work them in here as best you can. Now we can install the 5 screws, and they've got these star keepers. Keep them from falling through.
I've included the link in the description below to the high temp silicone I'm using. It can be easily ordered on Amazon.
Use this cardboard to keep it in place. You can see I've got an area where I totally missed the sealant up here, so I'm just gonna wipe it up into that groove. If I get a better seal.
Next, install new insulation at the firewall cover for the new evaporator. Do not exceed 1/4 inch of overall thickness. I removed the old insulation and installed 80mm kill mat sound deadening, then 147mm Silis thermal insulation and sound deadening.
Now it's time to install our duct adapters. And if you have a non-AC truck, you're gonna have to use the templates to cut them out to install your new grills in the dash. This is an AC truck, so it previously had AC, so we're just gonna be using the adapters on the back side of the existing grills. And first thing is we're gonna be preparing our defrost ducts here so that they can be screwed into the dash. And you're gonna need the number 8 clips as well as number 8 1-inch screws. The way that they're sitting right now is this would be facing forward like that on the dash. So for the driver's side, so on this side we'll just have one U-nut and screw on this side, and for passenger side we'll just have one U-nut and screw on the right side. These duct adapters you'll need to snap the S clips on based on where it shows for each one, and then these will snap on the back side of the existing grills. So for instance, this one, is already on here since it's an AC truck, and it's pretty easy to kind of tell, which ones go where. You just make sure you get the S clips on there, and then you'll be able to snap them on over the back side.
Next up, I'm removing the front passenger wheel well liner and tire for routing of the AC lines.
Okay, since my Bronco doesn't have the grommet, we're gonna measure down from the under edge of this body seam here, 4 inches down and 1/2 inch over.
I found it best to tape the cover plate up to double check my measurements and mark the holes that I'll need to be drilling out. It's a good idea to use a file to knock down any sharp edges or burrs before routing the AC hoses.
So we're going to drill a 1-inch hole for this next one. I'm going to use this existing one here, and we're going to measure down 1.5 inches from the center, and we'll drill our 1-inch hole. I'm going to need to enlarge this hole to 7/8. Alright, it's finally time to install our AC hoses. We're going to need our number 10 and number 6 lines. We're also going to need this gasket for the number 6. It's going to go in this lower one here. And I'm going to put this in first just to make sure it fits in case I need to enlarge the hole for that. And then we'll go ahead and install our number 10 line on the top. And you'll notice it has a 90-degree angle with a nut on the end. That's what you're going to want, because it needs to go in and then wrap around towards the front up here, and then we'll kind of flip it back up, higher up, then it'll follow along. There's 2 different brackets, and then it's going to drop down to where the 2 holes are that we already drilled to go in to the cab entry there, down by the kick panel. So first off, I'm going to start out with this, and then we'll go ahead and do the install and work our way around.
I cover the hose openings with the provided caps once I work them into place to prevent anything from getting in the hoses. I use soapy water to ease the hose through the grommet more easily. Make sure there's enough AC hose to reach the dryer to connect. Hold off on installing the zip ties to the hoses and brackets until you've made your connection at the evaporator. You may need all the slack you can get when making that connection.
Right now I don't have any silicone that's not dried up, so I'm just going to keep moving forward and get this secured for now. I'll come back later to silicone it. All right, we're gonna lay it down on the passenger side floor. So we'll be connecting our number 6 line here and our number 10 line here.
Use the mineral oil lubricant for the O-ring on the number 6 AC line. It helps to have something to set the evaporator on to keep it somewhat level while connecting the AC line. Align the threaded mounting pins with the holes on the firewall to get it lined up when installing. While behind the dash, install the mounting bracket through the glove box opening. Then use the template below to drill out the screw locations on the dash.
So this would have been much easier to do earlier, but I just didn't have the silicone. So just duly noted, make sure you have it. I thought I had some, but it was dried up. Nice. All right.
Make sure to remove the plastic caps and rubber plugs before installing the AC hose.
Measure out 9 inches. And this 9-inch portion is going to be going in the cab side. Alright, so here it is. It's got kind of a funny spot here. But this side will go through the cab wall up into the evaporator here, so it'll allow it to drip down and out of the cab.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see the next video finishing up the Vintage Air install with the electrical, control panel, and everything else.